Good afternoon, happy stampers. This is Judy Anderson from judystamps.com, and I'd love to welcome you to my happy stamping studio where every stamp tells a story and every project brings joy. I'd like to welcome those of you watching live and those of you watching on replay. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule today to join us. So, as you come on, say hello and let me know what the weather is like by you. Fall started this week, and oh my gosh, you wouldn't really know it because it's still in the 80s here. However, today it's going to be a little bit cooler and rainy. So, it's going to be more spring-like than fall-like. And let me know, is fall one of your favorite seasons? It is one of my favorite seasons. I just love the colors of fall. I'm a fall girl. My birthday's in the fall, and I just love all the colors that pop up all over. The trees here aren't beginning to turn, but up in Michigan they are. So today, since we're celebrating fall, I thought that I would use the More Than Autumn stamp set and dies. This is a stamp set and dies that came out last year. It's still available in our online exclusives, and this is a staple in the fall for me. I just love apple cider donuts. I am not into lattes because I am not a coffee drinker, but give me some anything with pumpkin spice in it, pumpkin bread, pumpkin cupcakes, anything pumpkin. And this craze started about a month ago already, but I wasn't quite ready to get into it because it didn't feel like fall. So, like I said, we're going to be using the More Than Autumn stamp set. This is found on in our online exclusives right now, as well as the dies. I am using our plaid 3D embossing folder. Today, our modern oval punch. Our colors are basic beige, Cajun craze, and pumpkin pie. And then we have our cardstock. I will list all the cardstock on my blog tomorrow, judystamps.com, if you're wanting to know. So we're going to start out with this strip here. This was a leftover strip, actually. And I decided, you know what? I can use this on the inside because this card today has got a little treat to it. So hang out to the end to discover what that little treat is. Now in the stamp set, there's some pumpkins. So I am going to be stamping some pumpkins on this strip. I do want to line it up on my grid paper. And let me move these out of the way so I can show you how I do this. So I'm going to line this up on the grid paper, and this is 5¼ inches. So I know that starting at 9 inches, it goes to 14¼ So 5¼ in half is 2½1/8. So just about here, I'm going to put a pumpkin. It doesn't have to be exact. And then we're going to put one over on this side. I should have done my little trick and measured off of this. But so since I didn't, I don't want them to line up. This one's going to go up here and it's going to be angled. This one's going to go up here and be angled. And then we're going to fill in that spot. So we're going to go the opposite way. We're going to go down a little bit farther than this one. And this one just the opposite way. So all we did there was add a little detail to our strip. Now I am using peach pie two-tone cardstock. I thought I hit pumpkin pie and I didn't. So what we're going to do is we are going to make it a little bit darker because I just feel peach pie is just a little bit too bright. So we're going to grab our pumpkin pie ink pad and our blending brush. And we're just going to add a little bit of pumpkin pie to our peach pie paper. I've got some pooling here, so I'm going to go ahead and go over all that ink to even it out. go here in my lid, back and forth, both directions. Now I'm going to start off the paper, okay? And on this piece, I'm just going to go around the edges, just like we were just sponging this paper. Because on this strip, we're going to put another mat on top of it. So it's just the edges we need. This one, we're going to see the entire thing. This is the two-tone. This is the lighter side and the darker side. I've decided to use the darker side. And once again, I am just going to go around the edges, but then I'm going to do that tapping trick that I taught you guys. I'm just going to rest it in my hand like this and just add a little bit of detail on here. Just let the brush do its thing. So it's going to add some texture. It's going to make it look like it is actually like it's some designer series paper. Now, if you want, we can add some color to this. I am going to just go along the edges. So I'm going to go lightly on this. I don't want to cover those pumpkins up too much, but I do want to bring that same pattern into the inside of the card. So we're going to be using this on the inside of the card. Okay, let's move those to the side. And I have we'll do some more with that in a minute. I've got some scrap paper. On this scrap paper, it's Cajun Craze, and I am going to cut a piece of our adhesive paper because we're going to be die cutting this. So I am going to be cutting a piece that is approximately the same size. Just go here and cut around it. I always like to cut around where the seam is so I can remove that off of the paper. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and put this down and see how easy that is to peel it then. Oops. And this is the pieces that we're going to need. Put that there. Oops. And let's put this one here. And press that down. Now that folded up, so I'm not too sure. Oh, I do have adhesive on it. Okay, so this piece is to be thrown away. So your adhesive remains on the pieces that have that cut in them. Okay, we're going to set that to the side. And we have a scrap piece here. And on this scrap piece, we are going to be stamping our cup. And we're going to be doing that in the Cajun Craze. We're going to stamp our whipped cream topping, which we're going to use basic beige for. And then we're going to stamp our little pumpkin and some sprinkles. So let's begin with the bigger image first, which is our cup. I'm going to ink that up and press down even and up. Oops, hang on. I have to get some stamp cleaner spray. My Stampin' Mist. Okay, I want to put a pumpkin on the center of that. Pumpkin spice right there. Now our whipped cream, like I said, is going to be basic beige. Put that right here. Very light. Okay, now I want to do some sprinkles on here. Now the sprinkles I'm going to do in pumpkin pie, and then I'm just going to kind of roll it in the Cajun Craze. We're just going to put those towards the top there. So we've got some sprinkles on there. Okay, those are all going to be cut out also. And let me see, pumpkin spice. Let me see, I am going to put nothing is better than, And I am going to do that in Cajun Craze. And we're going to put that right here on this strip. I haven't decided if I'm going to cut that out, fussy cut it with my scissors, hand cut it, or not. Okay, so we've got some more pieces here. So on this one, we're going to stamp some pumpkins and some sprinkles. Okay, so I'm going to kind of make my own designer series paper. So, and this piece is going to go up and down. It's going to go vertical. So we want to make sure we keep all our pumpkins going in that direction, stamping off the edge so we don't have that angel card, as I call them. We want some off the edge. Just going down our paper. You can stamp as many of these as you want. I find that less is more when you're doing this. Some people have a tendency of stamping a lot of them, but we don't have to do that. So in our sprinkles, we are going to do those in the Cajun Cage. So we are going to put those in between our pumpkins, and we are not going to ink it up every time. So I'm going to be stamping off. So some will be lighter, some will be darker. Put this down here. Okay, now you take a look and see where you might need to fill some in. So just a couple spots I feel need to be filled in. Now you could stop at this point, or you can grab your blending pen and you could add some color to this with, not your blending pen, your blending brush. So that's what I'm going to do. I am just going to, you know what, I'm going to tap. I just want to add that pattern on here, kind of more by the pumpkins and in between. So we've layered different patterns and textures to create this paper. Okay, we're going to close our ink pads up now. And we're going to take out our mini cut and emboss machine, and we're going to do some cutting. Grab that. I'm going to grab my dies. That I'm going to be using. This can go off to the side. Oh, you know, I grabbed the mini machine thinking that I wasn't going to need the big one, but I'm going to have to pull out the big one also. So here we go with this piece here. Remember I told you the adhesive's on here. So we want to cut it out with the paper up. And what we're going to cut here is we're going to cut pumpkin spice. I'm going to keep them towards the bottom because this top corner doesn't have any adhesive on it. And I'll do the pumpkin all the way down to the bottom. Oh, that's stuck to my glass mat here. And then the spice up here, so I know that I will get plenty of adhesive on there. So we're going to do those first. The adhesive from the piece that holds that in with the dies, got that all sticky. You know what? I'm going to cut this off here because it keeps flapping up. I'm going to do pumpkin and spice. Oh, I've got to clean this die off. Doesn't have to be straight. We're going to stair step our platforms. Yeah, it's an important thing to remember to stair step your platforms every time you use this. It goes through a lot easier. Okay, and we're just going to pull that through. There we go. What would happen if I put my dies on the other side. If you put them on the other side, your words are going to be backwards. Okay, what's going to be up would be the adhesive part. Let's get this off. There we go. I'm going to use my nips. Take that off. Okay, now we're going to get our other dies, our cup die and our whipped cream die. Put them on here. I'm going to go ahead and place those on. Down here a little bit. Now I push it in so it's a little snug, and then I go straight down. And that'll hold your dies. Or you could use Post-its or reusable tape. But these cut out really great to get those pieces. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my big machine. So this is going to take me just a second here. There we go. That wasn't long. And we are going to do some embossing. So with our big machine, we are going to take our flat embossing folder. The Stampin' Up is up here. And we are going to use this piece here, and we're going to line it up. And I am going to do the inside also. I'm going to line that up that way. Do both pieces at once. Use platform 1. Then our embossing folder with the fold, the crease towards the top, or goes in first. And then we'll use platform 4, which is for the 3D embossing folders. And we're just going to go right through. Okay, now we've already added color to our cardstock. But now I'm going to remove some color. I'm going to take these out. Nice pattern on there and more texture, more interest to your paper without really costing anything. We're going to take a sanding block and we're going to sand across the spots we want lighter. Okay, I'm going to do it on the glass mat. It's a little bit easier. Let's go ahead and put that through. And this is just adding more texture, more interest to your paper. Just a little bit more pattern on there. So those higher up raised spots are being sanded. On these, we're not going to have as much because we only have a couple small lines that are up higher. I'm just going to go across here and just add that interest. Now you can go as hard as you want, as light as you want. You can sand off as much as you want. But there we go. So there's that one. And here's this one. Okay. So I think we are ready to start putting our card together. So I've got my card base. I've got a mat. On here, I've scored it twice. And this is where I'm going to take my modern oval punch. And I'm going to just kind of eyeball it to the center. And I'm just going to put a little bit of a punch. Okay? Can you guess what we're doing with this? Let me know. What am I going to make out of this? Okay, so this is going to be the front of the card. This is going to be the inside of the card. On the inside of the card, I want to take this piece of peach pie two-tone cardstock that we did not emboss. And we're going to set that right along the edge here, like that. Now, this is where our self-made designer series paper is going to go onto. So this is a trick that you can do if you don't have some designer series pattern paper that matches your project. Make your own. You know, when I first started, I started with scrapbooking, and that's what we did. Okay, so this we're going to fold in, and I'm going to take my bone folder and fold that. This strip here is going to go along here, and it doesn't matter which way. I guess I should have put the pumpkins up and down, but it's a-okay. I'm not too worried about that. I'm sure the person that receives this is not going to worry about which way the pumpkins are. Okay, we're going to put it this way and just along there to decorate that strip. I'm also going to take my blending brush and just along this edge, I'm just going to add a little bit of ink. I want them to see that there's an edge on there. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to take a little bit of our liquid glue and we're just going to put a little strip here and a little strip here. Okay, don't put too much. You don't want it to protrude past. Okay, and just hold that for a second. Yeah, I know those pumpkins are going sideways, but that's okay because I will tell you, if I were going to open this, I would like, oh my gosh, look what's inside here. Okay, now I want a sentiment on the inside, and it's going to be, except maybe you. I want to keep up with the rest of our sentiments and do it in Cajun grays. Put that there firmly. We're going to get our pumpkin pie ink out, and we're going to put a little pumpkin right like that. Okay. We're getting there, you guys. Okay. Now we're going to fold this up this way and burnish that. So when I scored this, it left me with a mat, and this is where we're going to put this mat. So we're going to just put some adhesive on it and secure that to the front of our card. And I'm just eyeballing where that other mat came down to. And let's move this, we gotta squish it over just a little bit. There we go. Okay, and then press that down. You want to press it well because of it being embossed. Okay, let's get our rest of our pieces here. So we have our cup. We've got our pumpkin spice words. So we're going to remove this very carefully so we don't rip that. And then our spice. Let's get this here. Okay, so I am going to grab my Stampin' Blend, my pumpkin pie Stampin' Blend, and I'm going to make our cup. Pumpkin spice. Now I'm flicking it this time because I want the sides to be a little bit darker. And up here, along that rim and along the bottom. And then we're going to flick this in. Okay, now I'm going to get my dark pumpkin pie, and I'm going to go over that again. So here, and then we're just going to go across again. Flicking that, bringing that color out on that lip, and then flicking. I'm pressing on the outside and just lifting as I go in. Now I'm going to go to the light pumpkin pie again. I'm going to do this lip. I want a little bit of color up there. And now I'm going to go over this, and I'm bringing my strokes out farther this time. So what that does is it takes that white spot and it lightens it, so it is giving that 3D effect. And it's just that easy to do. Okay, we're going to take our mat. Let's put this together now. Take our mat. This is just a white mat. You could, if you wanted, you could take your blending brush around the outside of this. I don't want to. I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this on to this. You could have stamped it directly on here if you wanted, but by doing it this way, it gives it some dimension. We're going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals, add those to our whipped cream. And place it on top. There we go. And you'll notice that I didn't put any dimensionals towards the top tip because I knew that would protrude towards the top. Okay, we're going to place this on, but before we place it, let's figure out where we are going to put our words. I'm going to lift this up, pumpkin spice, and then nothing better than, and like I said, I'm just going to trim this off. This was actually a scrap of cardstock that I had cut off. We can put this towards the top. Okay, so I know I want this towards the top a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and add some adhesive right along that edge and line it up right there. Like that, press that. I'm going to take some mini dimensionals. Take your pick tool. Put this on here. Like that. Pop that up to make sure that it stands out of the crowd. So let me know, do you drink pumpkin spice lattes in the fall? Are you a coffee drinker? Are you a tea drinker? I've got to find a good tea that's pumpkin spice. So we're going to put this up here and then poke these out up here and adhere this. And so all we have to do is find the ends. Remember I told you I had that fold. Okay, let me use my take your pick tool here. And that should lift right up. If not, I'll go on the other side. And just peel it up a little bit. It's kind of hard doing it in camera. Okay, it's usually much easier than this. There we go. I just had to get under the right way. There we go, and it should all peel right off. Nothing's better than pumpkin. Just let it go across. And then we'll get the spice. And a lot of times those little chads will come right off. Okay, I learned on the other one, go this way. Lift it like that. Now these don't have little dots for the eyes, which I love because those little dots in these dies are kind of hard sometimes. So let's see what jewels we can use on here that are small enough. I'm looking at, okay, so I have the neutral matte dots. Got some small ones here in the brown, pumpkin, spice, and we'll put a bigger one up here like that. So there is our card, our fall card, and it's got a spot for a gift card. So all of you that said a gift card holder were correct. So just by folding that back and not cutting it off, but tucking it in there, we have a gift card holder there for that special someone. And perhaps it's to their favorite latte place. So I hope you guys enjoyed this card using the More Than Autumn stamp set and dies. And until we meet again, everybody, happy stamping.